Alright. Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number 308. And my camera decided to freeze on me. That's not nice. Okay, there we go. Alright, so in the case of this one, we're discussing only two episodes this time, 15 and 16 of Go Busters. In the case of 15, we finally meet who Brett Beetle is. It's Beetle Buster. His name is Mesha Joe, and it's revealed in this episode he was Renji's senpai. Yeah. And the fact that he was on the team when they disappeared 13 years ago, a bit more expansion per se. Okay, this is a guy who escaped from hyperspace. Well, kind of. Well, how should I explain this? Stag here, who is his Beetle buddy, he escaped from hyperspace, which they explained that he did this by basically hitching a ride on a Megazord, an evil Megazord. Yep. As junk data. Yep, as junk data. That's how basically he was able to get there. So, apparently he also knew the commander prior to the series. Like, interesting. The fact that he knew the Red Buster's parents, per se, and the fact that it was actually his father was the one who ordered the jump to hyperspace. Yeah, and of course the obvious question is there anybody alive in hyperspace? According to Joe, he says that he never saw anybody in hyperspace. He's a single human. Doesn't mean there isn't. Maybe he says he was actually a different division when the building got teleported. So that's what explains it there. And of course, also we see these two episodes we debut Stag's. Well, his basically Stag Buster. His suit with the same suit as Steel wears in Beast Surfers. Though, like in the case of Beast Surfers, where they did this like pretty quickly. Not the case this one. Nope, we waited until episode 14 for his debut. It's like a sneak preview. In episode 14 and 15 is basically we see him. And we established the famous gag Stag has where he would constantly step in front of Joe a lot. So basically you had to tilt his head, push him out of the way, and of course tell him to not and also he also told him to not step on his lines. There's a brief scene where Brett Beetle and Brett Beetle and Red Buster basically fight. Briefly get info. It doesn't exactly go to plan. It's interrupted by Enter, which is the first that Enter has met Joe. Now, Joe is an avatar. Basically, he's a hologram who gets teleported there via Stag and acquires a lot of Emergon. I'm like, that's interesting. Excuse me. Yeah. So, at the end of part one of this spree two-parter, there was a bunch of Emergen being siphoned via a vacuum cleaner, and they take it from gasoline tanks. Yeah, apparently Emergen powers vehicles in this series, which is interesting. And this one was actually really successful, and then the end of the episode, he takes the stuff anyways. And then the reason why this is revealed next episode because, well, Stag is a buddy bot. So, of course, basically, he has to have Emergen. And he drinks like he's drinking soda. So, when the busters interrogated him, he doesn't have much info for them. But, of course, he got a little more info. And plus, there is actual proof that the human's alive in hyperspace. Because at the end of the two-parter, Joe gives Red Buster basically something that was supposed to be given to him at the Christmas party because this is done Christmas Eve. This whole jump to hyperspace. Yeah. And, well, also we get a chance to debut their Zords, which are Beetles. Which I believe is the first time that there's been Beetle-themed Zords at this point in Sentai. Probably not since Hurricaneger was probably the last one. I mean, I've seen Down Thunder to recently, so... Though, I think in the case of Stag's one, for some strange reason, Hasbury named this to a praying mantis Zord. Despite the fact it's not a praying mantis, it's a beetle. More like a rhinoceros beetle. The story I've heard was that, oh, they changed it so it's easy to pronounce. Really? How is a rhinoceros beetle, and how is that hard to pronounce or you remember? That's easy! And of course, they help Red Buster to be the monster of the episode. Well, basically, Evil Megazord. But that's pretty much the 2 episodes in a nutshell. It's like a really good 2-parter. It's like we just had 2-parter. We had kind of two-parter kind of anyways that continues the plot for this. And at this point, we're only about halfway through with the episode I'm going to do before I go on break. And then basically, well, I'll start an anime. But this is pretty much the particular view. Next up, I'm going to do, I'm briefly do a Comic Corner. Excuse me. And then I'll probably call it, I may do a Comic Corner later. Actually, I might do a Comic Corner later after my stream. Okay? So see you soon in the next video. Bye.